You know, um, from our ministry here at Elevation Foundation,
Mm-hmm.
we look at artificial intelligence in a very special way.
Mm-hmm.
See, a lot of things that we think, right? We think of artificial intelligence as computers. No, artificial intelligence is the story that's been being told, and who's been telling it to you. You see, some of the things that we think these people are powerful in, and some of the things that we think they're doing to us, is an illusion. So if you believe it, right, then all of a sudden you're looking out and you've already lost the battle because you're focusing on something that you cannot control. See, there are things that you can control. If you focus on what you can control, what's right in front of you, you can expand that circle. So, whatever they're doing to the farmland, why are we eating from that farmland anyway? If we know for 200 years they haven't been replenishing the soil, why are we getting food from there? Because that's not even food. So you got a yard, you got friends with a yard, you got abandoned areas right in the hood where we could throw some seeds in there and grow something. And I could tell you that some of those abandoned areas, even in the city, have the original nutrients, because where the nutrients are really used and gone and washed down to the equator is what? Where they're farming every year, over and over and over and over. So everything is available to us and everything is in us. As long as we get the enemy out of the room and stop maybe looking at what we think they're doing, what are we doing? We got an enemy in ourselves. We got to outwit our own enemy. Now, if I go outside and stand on the soil and I am in my mind a superconductor, let's break down a superconductor. A superconductor is a device or a thing that can give away all of its energy and never lose any. It can give it all away. It's instantly right back. It's in superconductivity mode. Once you realize that you have the power to be in superconductivity mode, you don't lose. Like the thing about time, like Dr. Phil was saying, if you say, I want blah, 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 or I'm one today, I want to, you're in lack, limitation, not enoughness. You're lost in space and you can't get home because you feel that everything is outside of you. But if you start really studying the deep stuff, right, it's all in you. You're everything. We are everything. There's stars inside of you. There's galaxies inside of you. Most of your body is not even you. It's these different entities. You got
bacteria.
You got bacteria. You got mycelium. You got even viruses. Because all viruses, this whole thing, that's not bad. You got life. That is giving us life. Did I just say some bad words? I may have. I'm sorry.
Well, just be careful with that. Be careful with that way. You don't want to say that word too many times.
So my thing here is we sometimes come from the perspective of lost. What happened to us? What was done to us? My question is what are we doing to ourselves? What are you eating? What are you breathing? What are you emitting? So we got time. You take time and flip it backwards. You got emit. What are you emitting? And a lot of times what you're emitting is gossip. You're hearing something from somebody else, and then you go tell somebody else and tell somebody else. So now we're nosy and newsy. And most of it is about disempowerment. We're speaking the language of disempowerment. Here at Elevation Foundation, we say that you must become who you are right now in yourself. You got to get full of yourself. And because, most of our conversations, you meet somebody, right? Now, we're supposed to be getting grounded when we meet each other, right? You and I, we're going to find some level ground. But if you and I are in woundology mode, right? We're voting as victocrats. We talk about all what's happening, what they doing. Guess what? You're done. And that's going to be probably your best friend because both of y'all can sit there and be wounded together. You see, now that's how you ended up with wounded knee, wounded leg, wounded belly. You see,
trauma bonding.
You got trauma bonds. You got drama bonds. I mean, it just goes on and on. If you would like to elect and select that from the galaxy, because it's all there. It's in chaos. You are choosing what is coming through. Now, first, you got to get rid of some of the stuff that you got. That's not even yours. This luggage, man. Where'd you get this luggage? They asked you at the airport. Are you carrying somebody else's luggage? Somebody put something. So your body's a ship. You're a vehicle, right? You're a vessel. What kind of vessel do you have? Is it a love boat? Is it a canoe? Do you have a cargo boat? Some people think they on a love ship, but they got so much cargo from other relations and other relationships. They get into a relationship, they start talking about how the other relationships fail and what they don't want to happen, and they are now magnifying and quantifying something directly to themselves, and it becomes instantaneous because we are made of crystals, and those crystals are listening to the environment. Our cells are listening to the environment. Your genes are not just unfolding, your genes are listening to what? You are the genie. You are the generator. And if your thought process is all about lack, loss, oh, we black, and you know what they do to black people, and see, oh boy, it's racism, it's this-ism, you're done. Forget it. Go on, eat you a nice chicken sandwich. You know what I'm saying? And just it's okay.
Hey, take it easy on the chicken sandwiches.
see, I didn't say it was anything wrong. See, that's sound like some guilt. If you can do the transmutation on chicken, right? You the bomb now. You can do it. Then you can transmute that chicken. That's why you got some folks. Some folks say, well, you can't work with him. Dr. B, he eat pork chops. I said, listen. That dude put a roof on my house better than anybody else. He can eat pork chops and do whatever, as long as he can actually do what he does. Because some of us, we realize that we are alchemists. You can create something out of nothing, like grandma. Grandma, I go in her house, she don't have nothing. 10 minutes later, she got a whole big thing of food like Thanksgiving. How is she doing that? She's manifesting because she doesn't live in lack. She doesn't live in limitation. We don't, when we sit up and study all the stuff that was done to us. Like I told somebody one day, they said, man, there's another slave movie come. I said, I'm not watching no more slave movies. You see, I'm not saying it didn't happen. And I don't even know if it happened the way they said it happened, because it's, you got to be careful. And like, even when we say, I'm an African. Well, I mean, I'd like to go past that. What was we before that? You see, we are all part of the mycelium network. See, when you get down to this, it gets deep. It connects everything. It's everywhere. It's nowhere that it's not. It's omnipresent. It's in the water. It's in the air. Your thoughts are traveling, faster than light, faster than sound, faster than anything about how you see your world. How are you painting your picture? You're an artist. So if you wake up in the morning and you don't tune up your violin, you don't tune up your guitar, you're going to be out of tune. Now imagine all day you're out of tune. You're eating food that's out of tune. You're hanging with people that are out of tune. We got a terrible orchestra here. See, this is a crash course in killing ourselves. So we are eating ourselves, thinking ourselves, and talking ourselves to death about what? If I step outside and I touch the earth, I couldn't care if there's not one mineral. Well, I don't know where there is a place where there's no minerals. If I choose to let that energy from Ra come down through the top of my head, right? Go right straight down through the vagus nerve. If I hit that pineal and let the pinealine oil drip down on my tree of life, and I let that energy go straight into my feet, and she will send a message back, and I will be full. I will be full of what it is that I'm funking for. How am I living? So if you look at all the problems, so like when I used to, when I was the big time record producer, I didn't go to the studio, listen to the radio. I never listened to I don't know what's on. They said, well, you gotta give them what they want. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what people want. People don't know what they want. People are like sheep. You know what I'm saying? They being told what to want, what to desire, what's new, what's hot. You have to be an indivisible individual. You got to get yourself together right now and be nothing for a minute. I tell people, I said, well, you think you control your thoughts, don't you? We do these classes. People say, yeah, I control my thoughts. I'm conscious. I meditate. I say, all right, for the next 7 seconds, don't think about anything at all. Folks is looking around. I said, well, did it work? Most folks can't do it because they start thinking of how not to think. If I ask somebody, how do you feel? And they say, how do you feel right now? They say, oh, okay, let me think about that. You got to think about how you feel. That's artificial intelligence. Because you're looking for words and you want to make it sound good. And I ask you, what do you want? What do you desire in the world? Oh, well, I want to help save the world. Now, you ain't about to save no world. You can't save your world because your mind is being taken over by entities from you. Never mind the stuff outside. Never mind what they got going on in the country, what they said on the 6 o'clock news that's hanging your ass to death. That's what's important is who you are in this moment. And tonight, when you go rest, when you wake back up, you're brand new. For the first 11, 12 seconds, you don't know if you was a stick. You don't know if you was a ladybug. You don't know what you are, but you gather all your stuff together really quickly. So imagine you can stop and take a second and breathe or do whatever exercise or whatever discipline you have to get balanced and get what they call grounded. This is not just earth grounded. It means to have a strong foundation that you stand for and step out of who you were yesterday. Because we're living in Pastville. We time travel to the past all the time. We get more excited about the past than we do than the right now. And the right now is happening, which I call to now, has never happened before. Us four together right here has never happened before. I didn't know when brother called me today what was going to happen. He said, well, you know Rod Hayes. I said, yeah, I know of him. I don't really know his work. Oh, well, you know Dr. Valentine. Well, yeah, I know Dr. Valentine now. You know, lights used to go off on Crenshaw Boulevard when we all finished talking at the Good Life, because that was a place where there was a ley line, right? There's these ley lines on the planet where things actually happen. And, you know, I'm going to say this real quick. You know, I went to Sedona. A group of us went to Sedona. Go to where all the, you know, the vortexes was at. I didn't feel nothing. We was there for like days. I said, I don't feel nothing. Well, this is the great vortex of the vortexes of vortexes. And I said, I don't feel anything. I got back to LA a week later. Stood on Pico Boulevard, and guess what? Vortex opens. Wait a minute. It ain't in Sedona. It's who I am. I create the vortex. Damn. You have to be the superconductor. You have to be open to it. You have to realize it, but you got to let yesterday go and let all the conscious knowledge that you think you know, right? And gather something brand new as of today. Didn't they say the other day the Earth is spinning faster than ever? They said what? June 29th? They can't even hardly find the North Pole. Yeah. You see, things are shifting. This ain't the same place. You're not in the same place. You're not on the same planet. That sun don't look the same, does it? You think that's the same sun? I think they change it out every few years. The moon too. You see, but what you can look at is what can you control? Can you control your mouth? Can you control your mind? Can you control what you're listening to? Can you control what you're eating and what you're not eating? Okay, if I choose to step on the soil and say that this soil is going to replenish me, I might eat some dirt. It's going to have what I say because I am a superconductor conducting myself in such a way where I am open to the very best. And those opportunities are with us every moment once we get out of drama and trauma and all of that pain and misery that we can't fix. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm saying that right now you got to find a place of peace. Because if you don't do it now, in 2020, when we're in the photon band, do you know what that means? We're in the photon band. Look it up. Every 13,000 years, we go through this band of biophoton light that's coming like crazy. Then we got Sirius, the Earth, the Sun, the Moon, and our solar plexus is in alignment in 2022. That's why Baba Dick Gregory told me. He said, look, man, you're going to have to be ready for 2019. He said, because things is going to change. And you're going to have to become responsible for yourself because this opening is going to happen where we can all walk through. But you got to be ready to let go of the stories, the myths, even your own, what I call, energetic ghosts from the past, because they haunt you and they hungry and they eat you alive. Get new, get now. That's what we're focusing on here at Elevation Foundation is how to be new and how to gain some things that you can actually use every day and make it simple.
Hey, I want to drop a couple book references that help the people that's watching. So some of the things that we're talking about, I'm going to give a couple of good books. One is called Awakening the Genie in Your Subconscious Mind. Another one is Moving Through Timelines. Another one is called Awakening Your Telecult Powers. Then you have Napoleon Hill has one called Outwitting the Devil. This all ties back to what Doctor B Sirius was just talking about. All of this is teaching you how to get the control of what you're thinking about, getting control of the self, understanding how to use this thing we call a brain. They didn't give us no user's manual, but fortunately, before we came, before this generation was born, they had some smart people that wrote some studies down that gives us an insight into how to control our brain, how to use our brain more so than control it, because the brain is the mind itself is Sakomao. They call it Sakomao, monkey mind. It's erratic and it's very difficult to tame if you don't know the processes and the techniques. So I want to drop those book references in right quick while we was talking about it to give somebody some titles to look into as references to this material.
Indeed, indeed. I'm gonna get some Q&A from the people. Wow, I'm amazed at this show. I'm amazed at the show. This is a magnificent show, family. We're gonna get to some Q&A. Give you some questions. We got Dr. Valentine.
Before you go
Dr.
to Q and
Yeah.
A, you got to let Dr. Valentine address that last topic.
Oh, did
You
you want
left,
to add on? Did you want to add
you
on to
left him
that?
out.
Did you want to add on to that? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, no problem. What I can tell you is that if we do need a practical solution for nutrition based upon the lacking thereof in the foods that we have, we found here at the university a solution that would help. And we went through the testing for a year. I did my pendulum analysis over it and came up with a very high reading. And that product is what we hear we talk about, Juice Plus. In that particular product, the fruits, vegetables, and berries are actually grown on family farms that do have very enriched soils. It has over 40 to 45 medical tests that were run independently of the company, and it has a higher rating than the FDA's organic reading, the little green and white circular tab that you see on food when you're buying organic foods. It has a higher classification called NSF, or National Safety Foundation. And that particular purification monitoring process, if one or two of the products that they're bringing to it is found wanting, the entire batch that was shipped in that day is eliminated. So if you do want nutrition that can help to compensate for what we don't have in the foods, and this is again a practical suggestion for those who are interested, they can get in contact with our university. I guess at the end of this particular broadcast, we all can actually say give our contact numbers. But the Juice Plus itself has the nutrition, and I know I'm not supposed to be saying this, but this is an emergency. And what you want to do is to get materials that can get directly into the bloodstream. The enzymic content of these capsules that have this fruit, vegetables, berries, as well as the omegas, which is the omegas 3, 6, and 9. The enzymic content is up to 99%, which means that the food is virtually live. So if you want to compensate for what you know you're not getting in today's food from farms that are actually found around the world and most people don't know about, the food that is the products that are used, the food that are used are ripened on the vine. Today, the foods that you get in certain places where they sell so-called foods that are organic, these foods are not ripened on the vine. And most people don't know that 75 to 80% of the nutrients are actually shot into the fruit, the leaf, the vegetable at the point of ripening. So most of the time, in order to get it to market, they will pick it before it's ripe and they ripe it on the shelf. So that's why there's very few nutrients in the products that you're eating today. And Juice Plus, essentially, the formula was put together by one of my herbal teachers, Dr. Umberto Santillo. And he put together a formula that helped to save his father, who was destined to die in 3 weeks from a esophageal cancer. He began feeding his father this particular formula through the rectum, and his father lived for 3 extra years as a result. So, this has been what it is. If you know anything about me and how I lecture for 11 and 12 hours, I beat my record of, I think it was in California out there with you, Dr. Sirius, with Bobby Hemmett and myself. I think I hold the record there for 18 hours of straight talking. And
Jesus Christ.
the thing about it
Jesus.
is that there's the Juice Plus that has helped me to do this, and I'm talking about this from personal experience. So
Mm.
if you are interested in it, you'll find that this is the best compensatory nutrition because we're at war right now. We cannot have our fluffy little gardens to grow because if you're growing it on the outside and you don't have it in a terrarium, all of the chemtrails are actually settling on your food anyway. So you have to understand that the places that Juice Plus picks their foods from, they have these very secured farms, which are not industrial farms. They're family owned farms, black owned farms, white owned farms, family farms that they get their materials from. So I suggest that if you are interested in compensating, get in contact with me, and I will definitely put you straight to the people that will help you to help your family. One more thing, if you do decide as a parent to get a Juice Plus for yourself, your child, if 4 years in age and over, and if your child is in college, can actually get that Juice Plus for free for 4 years.
Mm.
Okay, that's how serious the company was. Like I said, I vetted them for a year before I began speaking about them, and I can actually say that this company is valid.
Indeed. Let's get to a couple of questions before we get out of here. First question is there a difference between the soul, consciousness, and spirit? And if so, may you expound upon it from your perspective and experience?
No, it's all one. There's no such thing as a separation of consciousness. All is consciousness. You can't say, I'm conscious of this and I'm conscious. We become conscious within consciousness. So the soul is part of a consciousness projection or a consolidation of singularities who are actually conscious within themselves, within consciousness. So to separate and say consciousness is this or that, consciousness simply is.
Mhm.
I can't even add nothing to that.
And back to something that we were talking about earlier. Our language is very interesting, man, because we're speaking English and it's on an angle. You know what I'm saying? This is
Mm.
an interesting thing, but we have these concepts. But once you realize that everything is everything, it's all one. So you were talking earlier about being telepathic. We're not going back to being telepathic. We are telepathic.
Mm.
That's how grandma knew when she came in the house that that you had been doing something.
Mm-hmm,
She could just
mm-hmm,
look at you. What you been
mm-hmm,
doing, boy? And you say nothing. That means no one thing. I've been doing something, but it ain't no one thing that you can dial in on.
mm-hmm.
We are telepathic, but we have relied on this tongue. You see, and we have this tongue that we it's like we babble. We're from Babylon. We babble on and on and on, using a lot of words to describe something that you can't even perceive. This thing is so deep that you and each person has a different discipline until you realize what is yours. And then you get out of describing things in such a way, because the deepest stuff that I have looked at is ineffable. If it's ineffable, it can't be explained. Like mystical, you can't explain to me a mystical experience, because mystical means no tongue. What you trying to explain? Well, see, what happened was I was out there and the lights came down. Then all of a sudden I could feel this vibration, and then the fairy came through the wall. See, that's Disneyland. That's what you got from Tell Eye Vision. You see, putting these things together. Some of the deepest and some of the deepest experiences that cannot be explained. So many things have happened to me since I was a child. And people say, well, what happened? Can you break it down? No.
It's not possible.
Why would I even do that? I'm going to let the air out of it. It's just listen. If you could
let
feel,
the air out of it.
if you could feel the energy that I have, and as I I create more and more energy in the moment, because the more I give, the more I receive. You see, once you are in the place to be, and once you are not fighting and speaking the language of strugglers and going to the strugglers convention, right? You can begin to manifest right now, because it is all available in this particular moment. Once you realize the opportunity that is here right now. So they talk about, oh boy, next week is 8/8. Well, that sounds deep, 8/8. Well, it has some significance. It does, but it's about you and where you're at, who you are, what is your impulse, what is your goal, what brings you joy, what would you do? I ask people, they say, well, I got to find my purpose. I said, what would you do for free? If it wasn't any money involved, what would you do? Some folks don't know. I ask folks, well, what do you desire? What do you really desire? And they kind of stare off, and they they'll say, well, I don't want to have cancer. I don't want to be sick. I don't want to break up with my girlfriend. And they speak of what they don't want. On and on and on. And I said, well, what would you desire? Well, I need $1 million. I said, well, that's only 500,000, because you got to pay taxes, unless you know how to handle that. You see, this is not $1 million. You need to your numbers need to go higher. And do you want money? If money is losing value, if it's fiat money, what is it? Where would you like to be? Can you sum that up? Can you bring that up? Can you conjure that in your mindset? Can you be there now in your mind? And the only reason why we can't is because we got mental parasites, physical parasites, emotional parasites eating us alive. Once you detoxify from those things, because see, it's just like a guy told me the other day. He said, well, Dr. B, I did my parasite cleanse. I said, but listen, I deal with systemic parasites. Do you know what they are? They're not the ones in your colon. They're in the one in your head called toxoplasma. Have you looked at that? Where they say 75% of the people have this parasite that's controlling their mindset, keeping them fighting and angry and poor, broke, lonely, hurt, sick, causing you to do self-harm. Sometimes your language is self-harm. Sometimes we talk too much about nothing, right? Just to sound good. And our ego is huge and we're pumped up. That's that parasite. And that parasite will control you to the point where you will never reach your true destination, or where you could reach. You see? Because it's going to keep you in a place where you're controlled. Your emotions are under control. It's going to have you afraid of things that can't hurt you, and mad about things that's none of your business. We minding everybody else's business. I don't know nothing about. I don't even know where Ukraine is at. I ain't never been there. I don't know. Should I focus on that? The president. I don't know if there's a president or not. To be honest, I ain't met the man. I don't have a referent. I only have references, And a reference is not the actual thing. Once we detoxify, and that's what our classes that we teach at elevationtime.com, we're teaching folks how to get control of yourself one step at a time. To detoxify the parasites, the systemic ones, you're not going to use your regular herbs and things, because you're going to need to use essential oils, flower essences, crystal elixirs, sound vibrations. And then I want to hit on this really quickly because I know time seems to be drifting, but it's not. Do you know what is affecting us even more than the food?
What?
Music. The music we're listening to. All tuned to some frequency that Hitler used to use to get the people in a slumber, to get them in a state of chaos, using the central A frequency on the piano, the note A 440. When you drop music into the octaves of the earth, like one of those is 432, you move that A down, 1.8%. It vibrates with a natural flow with the earth vibration. You feel it first and hear it second. It's not chaotic. The music that we're listening to has been controlled and tuned, because when Hitler would come on stage, they would turn this chaotic frequency off and the people would feel good. And when he left the stage, they turned this frequency on. They had it cities and towns. They'd be putting out this 440 hertz, which caused people to feel pain. If you're sad, you're depressed, it's just cloudy out. The sun is out, but it looks cloudy to you. The next thing is hip hop. You know, I was at one point a hip hop rap producer. Do you know there's an instrument that every hip hop song better have in it? It's called the 808 drum. It's a deep bass. Boom, boom,
chakra.
boom, 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 boom. It is such a chaotic frequency. It's this dominant. You don't even care about the high notes. You don't even care about the lyrics. You don't care what they're saying. They could be mumbling. As long as that vibrating thing is causing that hypnotic rhythm, it causes you to never get to the highest point because that frequency is changing your natural rhythm. It changes the way the cerebral spinal fluid travels up and down your spine. It changes your heartbeat. It changes the way your thyroid sends messages and your hypothalamus, which is, you know, controlling. It's the interface between the nervous system and the glandular system. The music, so you could be deep and eating all your raw food. Oh boy, I drink 20 gallons of water a day. I walk, I do this. Then you're going to turn that music on. And if that music is tuned to a frequency that's causing population control, which most of it is, I don't care how spiritual, how good the song is, how excited you are, you're going to get caught up because that frequency is a chaotic frequency that you're ingesting. That's why I created this thing called medicine music. You know, when we have this music that as soon as you put it on, you go right into the theta state. You're in meditation. You're in the place where you're actually creating something and not being controlled by what you think is your music. It's my music. And this is what Hendrix was talking about, Prince. This is what Bob Marley was talking about. This is, and all those people, even the first Michael Jackson album is tuned to these sacred frequencies. Once you tune the music to these frequencies, you begin to ingest them. You're eating with your ears. You're eating with your eyes. You're eating. All of your senses are taking in nutrition. So just being conscious and deep and then go turn on that music and don't realize that this music is creating what? It's creating discord in your organs. You say, well, we could live a long time, right? But you want to be healthy as possible. And music is one of the things we should look at.
Indeed. I want to get to two more questions before we get out of here. I know these gentlemen got a lot of things going on. This question right here is interesting because this is a metaphysical panel, but this is a question that the majority of the melanated community are concerned with, whether it's a distraction or not. This is something that consumes us based on our experience here in America, and that is what's going to stop white supremacy. That's a criticism of that's hold on. Yeah, I like that. Rod, hold up. Since you said that, Rod, let me start with you. A criticism the metaphysical community gets is how y'all gonna stop white supremacy? How y'all gonna do that with all this pseudo science and this and that? So talk. Go ahead, Rod. I'll let you start that.
Look, we shouldn't be fighting white supremacy in 2022, but since we is, we not gonna. My son not gonna fight that shit. All it is a military strategy to oppress people and to disrupt the thinking. The same stuff that Dr. B was just talking about, that victim syndrome shit, all of that is part of the doctrine of white supremacy. The doctrine of white supremacy is a Roman construct that Alexander sacked India to get the caste rolls of government so they can learn how to introduce an artificial caste system based on skin color. And the motherfuckers who created it and running it look just like us, but they ain't us. This how we gonna stop it. Metaphysically, tell the truth, shame the devil. Drag them motherfuckers out, tell them who they is, where they came from, what they doing. Babylonian blood magic, Babylonian money magic, Babylonian sex magic, using the metaphysics against the people instead of using the metaphysics properly to balance the frequencies of the planet. So when we face with something called white supremacy, I immediately get pissed off because we shouldn't be still dealing with that.
I see, brother. Yeah, that shit bother you. Oh,
look,
man.
Even the people who was benefiting from the skin-based racist system is tired of that shit. So if they benefited the most under the system and they tired of it, then somebody got to put an end to it. And the only end to it is to drag these secret societies out by the ass, throw them out there to the people, and let the people see these riding suckers for what they is. It's a social construct based on controlling people and keeping people chasing artificial dreams while they live high on the hog, telling us to wait for some motherfucker to surf off a cloud. He ain't coming. If you're waiting on him to come on a cloud with some long stringy hair, he ain't coming. He ain't never been coming. They made it up in order to control us. Do what Doctor B said and can get the parasites out your mind. And worst parasite we face with now is the religious parasite. God intoxication on an artificial construct.
Mm. Damn.
Get it out your head. This how you end white supremacy. You face that shit. Everybody else ran from it and marched on it.
Mm.
I'm kicking them in the balls.
Yes, sir.
My son not finna fight that shit when he get grown. So we gonna either have to bump straight or get off the planet. There ain't no other option. And you can bring the metaphysics, the quantum physics. You can bring the simple physics. You can bring the algebra, the geometry, the trigonometry. You can bring the history. It don't matter what you bring. It's all pointing to the same direction. It has to end. It has to end. It can't continue on giving up. Look, they got these people talking about reparations. And reparations is equivalent to owing somebody $1 trillion and you offer them $5.
Mm.
That's not that. Reparations is an artificial construct used to dissuade the people from the land from ever realizing who they is, because we always fighting for something that ain't got nothing to do with us. A psychological egregore created to step on us. An egregore is a thought form. The thought form takes hold like a parasite in the brain. What you call it, Doc? A plasma what?
Toxoplasma.
Toxoplasm. That's what that shit is. Get in the brain, starts to do all kind of stuff. Have people thinking everything different than what it really is. And it's all to lead you away from the path to you. Because soon as you realize who you is, white supremacy ain't going to affect you no more. But the problem is they got everybody looking external for an answer that's internal. Clean up your own heart and your own mind, and you're going to make the world around you conform to the cleanup. This is what we talking about. We'll be talking about the whole grounding and the whole purpose of this panel, right?
Yeah.
So here we is, elders. These my elders, right? And I'm coming up to be the elder to come after them. They got to make sure that this shit is in good hands. They got to make sure that somebody that's not going to buy none of those lies that we've been told. All of those lies are also parasites. And it's also those lies that's done to create the parasitic conjure to keep us debilitated, crippled. Half of the people that's filled with that stuff in their brain, put them in a room 5 minutes by themselves with no sound, and they're going to be beating their head against the wall because they got all of these mental parasites ripping through their brain, and they think that that's actually them.
God damn, this is a powerful panel tonight.
We already talked about being telepathic. Yes. Not only is they dealing with the parasites, they dealing with the dude next to him that's plotting on killing his mama. The other dude on the other side of him plotting on killing his neighbor. He got the girl behind him plotting on sleeping with his boyfriend. All them thoughts is coming into his head.
Yeah.
He don't even know where they coming from because he don't even know who he is. So he can't even identify the rogue thoughts.
It's overload.
Sensory overload.
Shit. Yeah. Okay. Listen, it's interesting how you phrase that perfectly. What we're doing essentially is sabotaging ourselves with the types of thoughts that we are carrying. The very fact that we put white supremacy as a priority, we have agents that have our skin colors that are actually putting that as the forefront, like Black Lives Matter. and they're funded by the Khazarian mafia. When you have Bloomberg funding it and Soros funding it, and they have snatched that black identity so that even we don't realize that with the elevation of Black Lives Matter, we've still elevated white supremacy as greater than us because all Black Lives Matter did was complain. They had no solutions. The greatest solution to get rid of an evil is to put something good in its place. And as my good brother said, once you get your mind right and you clean out all of the different types of, uh, I guess, uh, not rogue thoughts more than viral thoughts, like a virus is placed into a computer to shut it down.
Mm.
There are certain thoughts, the words white supremacy, as my good brother the doctor says, once certain words trigger certain feelings and emotions, they've already got control of your thoughts. So when we begin to use certain words and say that these particular words, like white supremacy, are greater and is our greatest enemy, you have to understand how the art of war works. It works on your mind first before they move the military forward. So understand and understand that white supremacy only exists as we give it the importance needed for it to exist.
Egregore.
Yes. So I say essentially get your own thing together. And see, white supremacy is like a pimple full of pus. It comes out on the skin once you start doing the right thing from within.
Mm.
People see that, see
Mm.
what the disease is because it hides. White
Mm.
supremacy has gone covert now. So you don't know what exists. You don't know it exists until you see a black man riding around in a Rolls Royce, gets pulled over by a white police, and he's now going through all of the things, laying on the ground. Where'd you get this car from, and all of that? Well, once it's found out, and you sue the city and put that cop in check because he don't have a job no more, you're beating white supremacy. So what you got to do is get yourself together, get your mind right, get your spirit right, get your family to start thinking that way so that after you close your eyes and join the ancestors, that legacy of thinking, that legacy of action moves forward beyond you.
Mm.
I'd like to say I don't know what that statement means.
Mm.
I don't. That's not in my knowledge base.
Mm.
Love supremacy. Once you have a love supreme and you are connected directly to source, you're a sorcerer. See, right now you might be the sorcerer's apprentice, but once you begin to connect directly to source,
Mm.
you're connected to everything. And you now can choose what you're looking at, what you're focusing on, because the thing that we have to conquer is what's in us. Once you realize, like, one of my teachers said, listen, there's 144 dimensions that they know of. That means that there's worlds upon worlds upon worlds, and everything that ever has happened and everything that will happen is happening right now, depending on the frequency and the channel and the dial that you dialed in on. Because somebody's living right now in the city. Like, I remember there used to be a lady, man, she lived across the street from the gangs in LA. It was Bloods on one side of the street, Crips on the other, and she didn't never lock her door. She's sitting on the porch doing yarn. And we said, we gotta move, you gotta move out of this neighborhood. She said, look, nothing ever happened. I said, look at all the crime. She says, I don't see that. I only see love. I feed them. Them is my children. They just need somebody to talk to them. They need a little love. You see, the love supreme. Once you get that, one person vibrating at the level of 500 on the scale, and when you start doing the kinesiology and muscle testing, and you get to the scale of frequencies on the consciousness map, 500 is true love. Do you know one person vibrating at the frequency of 500 affects 750,000 people on the planet?
It's amazing.
That means that when you become the generator and the operator and the CEO, and you become the captain of your ship, your vessel, that there's certain things you don't even want to hear and talk about. Words ain't gonna come out your mouth. because you start mentioning all the problems and things that could happen, you're gonna crash. The boat's gonna sink. It's like the Titanic. It was doomed because they kept saying it was impossible. Look at back in the day when the stock market fell. They kept saying America is sick. America is ill. It was all over the news. They kept saying that over and over, and people heard America's sick. America's ill. Then all of a sudden, what happens? Polio. 5 years later, 5 years of emitting, and omitting, right, certain things over and over and having that hypnotic rhythm, you created. We are the creators. So some of this stuff ain't none of your business once you handle your own business. Once you learn how to cloak yourself. We're going to be talking about that on Saturday in our class. You can cloak yourself and walk, and they can't even see you. I learned this as a jazz musician. One of my first teachers was Jackie McLean, one of the greatest horn players on the planet. And he said, you're going to have to learn how to get into an idiom. Stop looking at the audience. Stop playing for the audience. You're going to have to find a space within yourself and disappear into a dark space of dark matter where she comes to get you. That's jazz. And in jazz, you're totally improvising. The improvisation must never end. But if you stay stuck and you got a broken record and it's a loop, then you will be sick of yourself and of the world. And then you forgot all about the love supreme. This is the time to get into the love supreme. And that means putting yourself first.
Amazing.
And getting to that place.
And they not almost.
I want to allow Dr. Valentine just came to make an appearance, and he has some important family business to take care of. So I want to allow him to leave first, but also leave his contact information for the people listening. But the brother, he really wasn't. He wasn't supposed to be on tonight. I invited him like an hour before the show, and the brother, he put things to the side just to give this opportunity to the people. So I want to thank this brother for coming on tonight. But go ahead, Doc. Before you leave, I know you got some important stuff to take care. Leave your contact info, Doc.
I will, and thank you once again for the invitation. I had to rush here to join the dais.
Indeed.
And, I did put aside some things to do, but I'm very happy that I did. And
amazing, it was amazing.
And the telephone number to call for any further information on what we do here, consultations. If you have problems on your job and they're stopping you from being able to do certain things because they want you to do other things that you don't want to do, and you want to deal with your religion to not do it. And I've said that. I hope I've done it right.
Yeah, you have. They know what you talk about, Doc.
Right. Yeah,
direct hit.
And also, I would invite people to look into Novatech as well as our university, which is starting our next semester, and of course the Juice Plus. So to do that, please call 800-847-1291. That's 800-847-1291. And my beloved brothers, thank you so much. This has been scintillating. And of course, it's so good to know that other people are vibrating on the frequency that you are. And I like to say this to you, good brother. Yes, I believe that as an elder, I've put the torch into good hands. Right here, I'm seeing it here. I'm in my 70s right now. So at this particular time, I got more time behind me than I do ahead of me. Some people say that's not right, but it's the truth. I like to live into that truth, and I accept it. But I'm glad that brothers and sisters are thinking the way that you all are thinking. And if I have to migrate back through the incarnational cycle, I'm just hoping it's through one of you guys and your leadings. And with that, I'd like to say again, dua, Shemim Hotep, Shemin Ra.
Peace, Doc.
Thanks,
Take
Dr.
care.
Phil.
All right. Let's get another question before we get out here. We still with the brother Rod Hayes and the brother Doctor B Sirius. Let's get one last question, but I know Doc had to go. I'm so grateful the brother joined us. He wasn't even supposed to be here.
Right quick, Rick.
Good, Rod. Good, Rod.
In the book references, the Dr. Neely Fuller's, the independent compensatory code for breaking the chains of white supremacy. It's a codified workbook for dealing with the thinking patterns that we learn from people that's teaching us other than ourselves. So he took the time to put also he got a part two that's a dictionary, um, which also aids in us learning the word usage to not participate in that system and go towards our own mind. Learning to use our own mind is the end game. Learning to not be victimized by those um, thought forms that's parasitic, and we can then begin to form unions across boundaries and borders and eliminate all hate-based doctrines of any kind. Because as Dr. B said, the love supreme doctrine is the supreme doctrine of life. Where there is no love, there is no life. So when you take the love energy away, which is Big Mama energy, mitochondrial expressed
Mhm.
in the human anatomy, and you have to tune back into that frequency. This is what we talk about when we talk about going back to Big Mama house. We talking about a place in the heart and a place in the mind where we was worry free. Dr. B brought it up earlier. You see Big Mama go in the kitchen, don't got nothing, come back, she got a whole meal.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
alchemy like a mother,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? And she's doing it out of an energy that's called love. And she's infusing the food with this energy called love. That's what you call real soul food. It ain't ham, hocks, and neck bones. It's the energy of the cook that loves the people that she's feeding and love to cook to feed the people she loves. And all that love converging in the heart of the home, which we call a kitchen,
Mhm.
right? So as long as we don't get to that energy frequency that he's talking about, he gonna tell you more about it than what I'm telling you about it. He gonna take it, because he's been doing it longer. He can express it from a higher perspective right now. But what he's telling you is what we call the Nation of Islam, all wise, right, and exact. If you don't vibrate on the frequency of love, when the love frequency take over the earth will turn you off.
Mm.
The earth does once the earth gets back to that energy, it's just going to turn off those who can't match the frequency. This is why all our elders been telling us for the last 30 years it's about the sound, it's about the frequency. The 808 is the war drum, beating directly on the root chakra. None of your sacred secretion gonna rise because you at war, flight or fight.
Mm.
The warrior gonna go into fight mode, everybody else gonna go into flight mode.
Mm.
This is why hip hop is heavily laced with the 808 to beat on the root chakra. And it's because the times, even though the enemy was using it as a tool of oppression, the side effect is we are a harmonic instrument in and of itself. The
Mm.
human body in a silent, in what they call a soundproof chamber, still is emitting sound.
Mhm.
Where's it getting it from? You got a drum beat going, they call it a heartbeat,
Mhm.
right? Then you got your snares, they call it a brain beat,
Mhm.
right? Then you got your string instruments, they call them nerves,
Mm.
right? And don't mess around and bend no joints because now you popping fingers. But all of these sounds emanate from the body. You can't get away from the sound. You can't get away from the love frequency when the A tone, when all of this converge and we begin to wake up from this parasitic mentality that's been artificially fed to us, all of this stuff is going to just melt away like ice in the summertime. White supremacy gonna melt away. Poverty's gonna melt away. Um, People gonna start helping each other across the street again. Like where they used to do the Boy Scouts when we was little, help the old lady cross the street. Now
Mhm.
motherfucker look at her and be trying to push her in front of her car.
Mm.
That's got to change. And it's not gonna ever change until we pursue what the Dr. B called love divine. They talk about it in the Circle 7, Love Divine. Noble Drew Ali wrote about it, right? So when you understand what that is, then you start to hear the natural frequencies of creation what is known as the sounds of the spheres. This all your chakras beating on tune. The sound of the spheres, each sphere is represented as a chakra. And when all of them is in harmony, you got a perfect orchestra. Beethoven used to hear the whole composure before he wrote a single note.
Facts.
Right? And he's drawing from the sound of the spheres. He's tuned in to the frequency of the divine creator, we call Big Mama. And he's expressing this by writing a series of notes on paper that the other instrument players can match what he's hearing in the divine songs of creation. So this is why Beethoven music can affect the child's development to increase his intelligence in the uterus. They already know this has been proven by science. Right? So from there, if we want to get rid of any of this hate-based system, we have to go to a love-based system. And the greatest labor of love is to do labor for the ones you love. And that's why we here. Dr. B.
This is an amazing time. There's never been a space that exists like now. There's a huge opportunity. The gate is open. As long as you are ready to go into the unknown. That's the place where a lot of folks are afraid to go into the unknown. And they say, they're having a problem here where we are, but they're afraid of the unknown. So I'm saying, well, if you know what's going on right now, you're not joyful and happy and healthy and wealthy here. The unknown is the only place you could go, because that's the place in that dark space where everything exists, where all possibilities are. But you have to become hollow like a bone. You have to become like you have to create the vortex. You have to become the flower of life. You have to become the toroidal transformer. You have to allow yourself to really tap in to the nowness. So one of the things that I realized in music was how, music has the power to do so many things, because everything is based on music and sound. Even all the chemicals and all the metals on the periodic table, it's all music, which is all light. So being a musician all of my life, I said, well, let's create music that actually takes people out of hell. So they could create heaven on earth, because some folks is in between heaven on earth and don't realize that they're the channel between the two. You're creating it. So we put together this project and we call it medicine music. It's a term I came up with to say that music is just like any other herb or any other mineral. It has nutrition. So I've made 4 medicine music projects. And just for today, we just did this today. My business partner said, why don't you bundle them together and offer all of them, which is like 5 hours of this journey of music. You're hearing sounds that you may have never heard before. I'm using instruments from all over the world. I recorded water. From streams and rivers all over. We were laying out in the marshland, recording the crickets and the sounds at night. And the sound changes from when the sun goes down. Then around 11, the sound begins to change. The crickets change their rhythm up, right? You got certain frogs that come out. So we're offering that, as medicine music on the website. And also, we're doing a class on Saturday. This, there's a powerful opportunity right now. It's a serious opportunity. So on Saturday, this class, I'm going to be giving folks simple steps that you can use to begin to really, truly manifest your heart's desire. But we got to get down to your heart. So we're using sound, we're using frequency, and teaching these classes that are simple. Now, it's not going to be easy to get off the train that you've been on, because you've been on a train track for a long time, riding with the family, riding with what you call your people. It takes a certain type of courage to jump off that train into the unknown. And what's going to happen is we give you simple steps. Somebody said, well, it's going to be hard because I've been this way all my life. Not if you take one step at a time. So my challenge as a teacher is to teach kinesthetically, auditorily, and visually, and get that information where you could use it. Because if it's kinesthetic, auditory, and visual, and you were going to use repetition, the subconscious changes based on the program that the conscious mind gives it. You see, your thought creates matter. Matter is not, it's not happening to you, it's happening from you, by you. You see, so we're now saying, look, it's time. We're going into the Lionsgate 88 or whatever date you would like to say on the Gregorian calendar, but it's when you choose. This is the time to choose to get on the love train or stay on the train that's going to hell in a handbasket. Those techniques, right, which it took years and years to pull together from the 13 teachers that I've had, from the experiences of other people, we're pulling it together and saying it's time to elevate, but elevate up high into your heart and create heaven on earth. So that's what we offer here at Elevation. We're not talking about the problems. You got enough of that. What are the solutions? What can you use today? And I guarantee you come to a Dr. B class, there's going to be something for everyone. And we're going to make it a little fun, because if you can't laugh and you're just mad and you got the torch and you know what I'm saying, you got the flamethrower out and you're looking for the enemy, you're going to create it because it's in you. You see, once we start taking responsibility and stop putting everything outside of ourselves, because we might talk about what the other people are doing, right? And I said, well, what are you doing? Your life is perfect. You want to blame something and listen and blah, blah, blah. I said, well you're going to cast the first stone because you're perfect? The one who, if you're perfect, right, then throw the first stone. But you can't, because we all are challenged. We are not perfect. We're not going to be perfect in this 3D world. There is no perfection. But there is this thing called love. And it's not the like a lot love that most people know. I love you. That's like a lot of times. Because if I ask you, what does that mean? You might not be able to give it to me in a way where I truly understand it, overstand it, understand it. And then you got to be able to exostand. See, exostand means I can stand outside of it and be an observer. You see, and don't take it personal. It's okay, because this thing that we're going through, we created. It's an obstacle course for ninjas, right? So you got to test yourself. So we brought this drama on, and we are going to move through it. And this is our sparring partner. Our challenges are our sparring partners. Like Dick Gregory said, he says, disease, whether it's cancer, is a teacher. So we help folks, we have the herbs, we have the cleansing, but we have the classes, and the Elevation Foundation. Our thing is, now we're going to plant new seeds and get grounded. You got to get grounded. You got to get balanced. It's just not about walking on the soil. It's about being sound. When they say you're of sound mind and body, that means you have something to stand on, and you're going to be yourself and become that individual, indivisible person that cannot be changed. No matter what you tell me, Dr. B is going to be Dr. B. And when you become whoever you are and be that, and put love first. Love first.
Dr. B, leave your contact info for the people.
You can find me at elevationtime.com. That's elevationtime.com. That's right, elevationtime.com. And if you'd like to be involved in the class that we're doing on Saturday, you can go to elevationtime.com. You can either go to events or go to products, and it's called a Serious Opportunity Part 4. There is a 4-part class. In fact, there's many classes. I've got this class called the Total Life Transformation System 1. It's a 9-hour course. Everybody that took it, their whole life changed, because it wasn't just what I was saying. It was the musical sounds that I'm playing in the background, the symbols that I'm showing, because symbols take you all the way back to your original self. Smells, sounds, certain things. So we're offering all those things. So, and those of you who have donated to the website, and I know you Brother Rich's people have crashed the website several times. People call, so where's my product? Well, the site, y'all crashed it. So I would like to thank you, Brother Rich, for this vortex that you're creating. This is a well where you can drink of the water. But since you're at the magic wishing well and your stuff begins to happen, never get in your mind that this could be the devil. The minute you have that doubt and that fear in your mind, the devil, the sickness in you will come and eat you alive. Be not touched Be in a place where no matter what's happening out there, it doesn't affect you. You stay focused on your goal, like those trees outside. They're going to expand and grow no matter what. The squirrels going to get them nuts. They don't care what's going. Could be an accident. Could be the president's talking crazy. Guess what? Go look at them squirrels. Go look at the bees. They're doing their thing no matter what. So this is a beautiful time. It's a great time. It's an opportune time. But you must become phenomenal. Phenomena. Be a phenomena. Do the impossible. Make it possible. You are love, peace, and harmony if you say so. Your word
Indeed.
crystallizes into space and becomes
Indeed.
matter. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
You know, one of my teachers told me in Malachi said that if a leader is going to implement a solution, the solution that's workable anywhere must be workable everywhere. Because if the solution not workable everywhere, it's not practical anywhere. You can't have a solution that only help one kind of people. The solution got to be able to help people across all spectrums of life. People have to be surrender the fear of taking the first step of a difficult task, because most of it is the preconceived notion of failure. So when we talk about being faced with oppositions and overcoming that, when you embrace with the love energy, I used to didn't like to talk about love for this reason. People use the word love like it's a token on the bus. Just flick that sucker around anywhere.
You're right. You're
And
right.
it debilitated the absolute essence of what we trying to express when we talk about living in that love energy. So I ain't like to talk about it, because the other people that like to talk about it, they don't want to live it. I'd rather
Mm.
live it than
And
talk
talk
about it.
about it. Woo!
Right? So I'd rather be
Woo!
that thing than try to tell you what that thing is.
Mm.
Right? And so if I'm gonna be love, I don't want to talk about it. I'm gonna show you. The
Mm.
greatest love I can contribute to my people is to all of the shit that I done learned in my lifetime of 53 years. Give it back with no strings attached. I was learning all this stuff to give it back because somebody was keeping it and hoarding it to themselves. So because my mama said, you the most unselfish mother I ever seen. I don't know why you like that, but you just like that. I got to give it back. One of the elders wrote a book. They stole it. You must return it. Right? What did they steal from us in essence? They stole our understanding and our ability to live in that energy where we love each other, we care about each other, and support each other. I want my students to do greater than me. But guess what? Even if they do greater than me, that's just going to make me greater than who I am.
Mm.
Because their greatness is a testimony of my contribution to their life. Right? So if I can contribute to them, be developing a self-love, and then want to give back because it's just the right thing to do, and I don't have to do it, but it's just the right thing to do, and I love who I am, and I love doing what I do. I don't like
Indeed.
social media, but I love my people. The love for my people is so much stronger than social media. I've been beating this motherfucker for 3 years trying to tell them, hey, this is the exit right here. Right? I done been ridiculed, talked about, called crazy, said I was losing my mind, and all the time I just been telling the truth, and they didn't like it. Right? So what me and Dr. B both expressing from two different angles is, if you don't get in that love frequency, then you're destined to create a self-failure reality. It's nobody to blame but yourself, because you think you better than somebody else, or they not as good as you, or whatever that shit is that they do now. That's not practical. Ain't nobody better than nobody else. My mama said, you ain't better than nobody, but ain't nobody showing the fuck ain't better than you. I live by that. So all of the stuff that I'm learning, I've been teaching people in secret my whole life. right? Because I just wanted to help. But my life script as a child was, can I help? I had to figure out how to marry my life script to the people in my life so that we don't have conflict. My son's life script is, I can do it. So I had to talk to my son using both of our life scripts so he'll let me teach him how to do it right. So I say, let dad help you by teaching you how to do it right. And then you'll be able to do it yourself. You say, okay, dad. But if I just try to show him how to do something, it won't work. Because he think he can do it already. Right? So my love for my son, I got to figure out a communication network. Right? And we click. Right? It's anybody in my life, that's my goal. My goal is, I ain't trying to be bigger than nobody. I'm trying to help everybody be bigger than me. Right? The more people I help be bigger than me, the better I help myself to become, because I have to swallow pride. That's in the way. I had to murder ego. That's in the way. We talking about fighting demons. We talking about going to that dark place Dr. B mentioned. We talking about getting to the primal. In the mind, you are going back to the original creation when you go into the darkness of the self. So you go back to the beginning in order to rewrite the motherfucking future. Right? So yesterday we already burnt that out. We burnt that down already. We can't go back to that house. The only house that's available to us is at this crossroads we at. It's the house of hate and the house of love. And I'm not going back to the house of hate because I've been there before. Did 16 years in the basement. Right? So the house of hate doesn't serve the greatest good of none of the people. Not even the least of them. The only house that's functional for all of us to go is the Big Mama house, the house of unconditional love, where you be who you are and be grateful for the other people for being who they are. Because when everybody be who they are, guess what we all become together? God as a collective.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to just say, piggyback just a bit.
Yes, sir.
We are in a time where the feminine energy, which is the magnetic energy, is important. And even though it's all of us male entities here on this program, that feminine energy is magnetic. It's more what they call the yin energy. It's moldable. We're changing. This is a new place that we're in, y'all. And I would like to congratulate all the people on the planet right now who are flowing with the change. It's not the same story. We can't even use the same language anymore because it doesn't work.
It don't work.
So, we got to change our language, change our walk, change our groove. And like when I was talking about music, I'm saying it's not a problem with hip hop. I'm saying that you got to have courage to be able to step out of the same rhythm and the same loop that everybody's using and trying to just do what you can do to make money. You got to do it because it's art. You see, arms and heart is art. Where you're being totally creative and improvising in the moment, because where we're at has never happened. So some of the things that we're saying that we could use, we may not be able to unless you are ready to be an architect of the new world. So I would like to thank all of you who are beginning to eat right, eat better, think better, healing yourselves. All of you folks out there who are working with herbs and people who work with the metals and the minerals and the soil. There's so many farms and gardens and good food and good ideas out there. We have to celebrate that, because until we celebrate by vibrating ourselves, we're not going to get more. You have to realize what we do have. We have more than we have ever had. We got this internet. We got this show wouldn't even be possible so many years ago. It would be impossible. You got to get on the radio, get that radio voice. Oh, here we are on KX9 and such and such. We've got Brother Rich on. And he got to have that voice and go to college and get a degree and, you know what I'm saying, learn how to communicate. You get a degree in communications. And the funny thing about communications is that the illusion that we have actually done something with our communication. That's the illusion of communication. But let's celebrate the love that we do have right now and the beauty. Even the warriors, when you're a real warrior, you're a lover. You're just not out fighting with a sword.
Hey, they don't understand
You
that,
got
Doctor
see
B.
if you really love, you're gonna
They
protect
said a
love.
real warrior is a lover. That's deep.
You
They,
have to
they
be. The
ain't ready
best
for that,
Deep.
Doctor
martial
B.
artists are lovers. They might
Yeah.
put a whooping on you and take your heart out. Then they sit there and pray
Mm.
and take your remains home to mama and apologize to her and
Whew.
leave some rice and some flowers.
For your family.
You see, he
Shit.
making me, it was time for him to graduate. You see,
Woo,
once
woo,
we
woo,
realize that there's no death, there just isness. We got to be in the business of isness all
woo.
the time. You see,
Yo.
once you get there, once you realize that you are the lightning, you are the sun, the moon, the stars, you're all of it. But you got to become a superconductor. And many of us right now, many folks online, some that are going to be online, this is the time to find yourself within yourself and elevate yourself in a way that's conducive for us to expand. Let's not elevate and expand and have a high vibration of anger, fear, and lackluster and all of that. That's there. Everything is tied to its opposite. But I just would like to celebrate all the ones and all the twos and the families that are coming together right now. And you may not see them in the mainstream. They may not be out talking because you talk too much and something starts happening. Black helicopters or ones you can't even see. You know what I'm saying? So this is a beautiful time. Just know it. It's a great time. But there is some challenges ahead and things that we must do. I would like to thank you, Brother Rich, for having me, in this forum. And Brother Rod, it's good to see you, and actually, connect with you. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing. And much love to y'all and to everybody. And that feminine essence. That is where it's at, y'all. We have to talk about that at another time because we men, right? We're males. You have to have that too. Even the warriors got to go home and get in the bath sometime and be taken care of. You can be out fighting, but what are you
Somebody got to
fighting for?
patch our
A
wounds up.
lot of folks are
What you
rebels
said,
without a
Rod?
cause. A
Rod, what
lot.
you said?
I say somebody got to patch our wounds up.
Somebody got to.
Look, I'd rather for somebody to kiss my wounds and sew them up than to dig in them with a stick and spit on them.
Mm.
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 Right. So I'm all with the drama. I don't mind getting the wounds. Right. I'm with all of the smoke. I want all of the drama. Bring that shit on. But the only one problem, I gotta first be right.
There you go.
If I ain't right, I don't want the smoke.
Mm.
If
That's
I'm right,
interesting.
I want the smoke, the flame, the embers, all the way to that motherfucker's just straight carbon. I want
Mm.
it all. But if I ain't right, I don't want no parts of it.
That's very,
Right?
very, very
Ain't no
interesting.
love in attacking people when you wrong.
But once you realize that if you're going to be a rebel, you need to be a rebel with a cause, a real cause that's going to make a difference when you get to your destination. Because some
That's right.
people, they were fighting and they got there, and okay, now what? You see, what are we going to do? Some folks, if you took away all their opposition, wake up tomorrow, all the things you said is hurting you and against you was gone, what would you do? Some folks wouldn't even know what to do. They was like, well, I don't know what to do.
I swear they'd kill themselves,
I've
Doc.
been fighting. I've been fighting for so long that I don't really know love. And we got to take love out of just being a noun and a naming word and realize that when I say a lover, I don't mean use a punk. You got to protect that. You got to have courage. If I only had a brain, you see, it's hard believing Missy. Listen to the songs in the Wizard of Oz. They breaking it down. You have to now take your ship, become the captain. And you got to make sure when you're the captain, right, or the CEO of the corporation, you need management in place that's looking for great opportunities. And you got to make sure that your security is not so hardcore that you've become insecure and you're fighting a battle that you cannot win. There is the one within that we can learn to take care of and nourish. And, those wounds are going to exist, but sometimes that scar tissue is showing you what it took to get high up on that mountain. So let's elevate, y'all. ElevationTime.com. Y'all come on, travel with us. Thank you very much.
Hey,
This is
Dr.
wonderful.
B, I want to get a chance to have another session with you. I love this. Appreciated the brother Rich for putting this together. Love Dr. Valentine's. He told y'all what it is. So the elders then spoke, and it was a time where men couldn't talk in the public like we doing about love in a manner that didn't have some form of aggression attached to it.
Interesting.
Now we can talk about love from the place of love in front of the people, and it don't have nothing to do with no aggression. It's love for the sake of love. That's the difference in that forced artificial concept that they gave us in Hollywood movies. Right? Real love don't say I'm only gonna love you because if you 6 feet tall. That ain't love. That's shit conditions. Ain't no conditions on love for real. You love because that's part of who and what you are. You don't love because somebody bought you a hamburger. You be appreciative, you show gratitude, but that doesn't in and of itself indicate love, because it could be a form of manipulation. But when somebody is coming from the heart, because that's who they is, you reciprocate that energy. Gratitude is the greatest magnifier. It's the you into the music, doc. So the amp on the speaker and turn the love on. Gratitude is the amp that intensifies and increases the love. Right? And when a man sync with a woman, he's working his equalizer to balance out the frequencies on the love channel to hit the right pitch to get the perfect sound. Right? And
yo motherfuckers is too much, man. Yo motherfuckers.
Said,
Yo motherfuckers
when
is
the
too
right
much,
one
man.
come, he gonna give you the right pitch, and he gonna tell you the right sound, and you will respond. He was talking about the A-tone, Million Man March reference. Go back, check it out. So we talking about the frequency that's the right tone.
Yes.
Love is the only thing that everybody can enjoy the same without guilt.
But to do that, you have to atone. The atone. You have to atone. You've got to look at yourself and see the things that you have done. And now you've got to look at that, sweep it all up and put it away. You might bury it. There's another kind of grounding. Going outside. We used to take folks in the woods and we say, well, one of the greatest things you can do is give Mother Earth what comes from you, your waste. And they said, yeah. I said, go stoop down and take a good one right there on the ground under some leaves. You know what I'm saying? Nobody worried. Bambi ain't trying to see you naked. You know what I'm saying?
Natural fertilizer.
And that's what she wants. You talking about why the soil is not fertile? Because all your stuff is flushing down some toilet, and then they taking it out there and it's choking the whales. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So where your stuff is going to what? Where is it going? It's not going back to the earth, but everything else is letting the earth take those nutrients and change them through alchemy. And let the mycelium network, the mushrooms, right, convert those minerals, right, into things that the plants can use. We have to become holistic with a W again and put that wellness back into it. And that's living in a balanced place. So another kind of grounding is going out in the woods or somewhere, right? Pull your little pants on down and do your thing right there.
Yeah,
and give that back.
I swear I was going to ask that earlier, but I said, nah, go ahead. Say what you're going to say. I was about to ask this. Go ahead.
First of all, to do that, you're going to change your center of gravity. And this energy begins to move up down your spine because, the energy is moving up through your vortex, right through your center. As you release what you call waste, right? That is food. Your waste is somebody else's food. Like your junk is somebody else's, this is like diamonds and gold and this imperial, you got some old furniture. This is something that somebody fix up. Say this is the bomb. But when you give back to the great mother, the feminine essence, that essence from you, it changes you. You could do it one time. And you say, what? Something's different. You just gave her what she's asking for. You see, so
by taking a dump in the woods.
Hey, man, we disrespect We have learned how to disrespect ourselves, the great mother, the universe, the omniverse, the cosmos, the universal field. We've been taught to disrespect it. Now we can begin to respect it by becoming perspectives, right? Begin to see a little different. See, what we need is we need to have new eyes, new ears to hear with. We have to change that, but we got to do it. You can't wait till somebody else give it to you. Talk about what they didn't give you. Well, they don't give us. They keep giving us this stuff. Who? You went and purchased it. You pulled out your money. They asked you when you got to the counter, you sure you got everything you want? Or whatever they say. You pull out your money and pay for some trash. I mean, well, that's your business. So we got to be responsible. And don't say they don't have this. We living in a food desert. I was in the hood one time and they said, man, it's a food desert. Ain't no food here. I said, I guarantee there's food here. We walked up and down the blocks. It was so much food. It was ridiculous. But they said, man, you going to pick them apples right off that tree? They ain't clean. I said, you think what you got from the store that's got bowling alley wax on it, that's they done got makeup people that went down there, you think that's better? And you got a watermelon that you can get at Christmas time that came from 5,000 miles away with no seeds? And you're gonna tell me that if I pick something off a tree, or if I grab a root or something that's growing, there's so much food growing in your neighborhood right here, but you don't consider it food because your programming, right, is all is artificial intelligence. I wouldn't eat that. That Doctor B, you gonna eat that? Don't eat that. You know, I go out and the bees land on me, right? They say, oh, you better kill them bees. What? I'm Doctor B. I'm connected to the bees. I put my hand in the hive where there's thousands of bees.
Hey, man. Listen,
you gotta be. It's to be or not to be. It's time to be the being, and the being is being in the business of right now, not yesterday, not yesteryear, to now. Are you ready? And I know you're ready because I can feel the vibration. This is your time. You got to take it. You got to select it. Vote for yourself. Take your voltage, and select yourself for president, governor, whatever it is that you desire.
Everything.
Become it.
Hey, Rod.
That's how you do that black magic, Brother Rich. That's black magic.
Rod, leave your contact info, man. This is
Woo!
This is
look,
overload tonight.
Y'all done got me worked up. I got to go.
Y'all catch me on Facebook at Rod Hayes, and on Instagram, I'm on Morpheus Mysticus Magus. They closed my other Rod Hayes page down on Instagram. But that's how y'all can get in touch with me unless y'all catch me on one of these YouTube platforms. I'll be doing a show with Young Elder coming up. I think probably the next couple days. So y'all be able to catch me on your Young Elder. But Rich, the term for what Dr. B said that I like to use, I've been saying it for years. When I give you shit, I give you roses. So people look at me and they be like, what? I said, listen, it worked like this. When I'm giving you shit forms compost. Compost forms rich black dirt. Rich black dirt is the fertile ground to plant a rose garden. So when I give you shit, just think about the roses you're going to have when it's all said and done.
Wow. Oh, man. What a perspective.
That's all in the alchemy, man. That's all in the understanding that if I give you a hard time, it's all in the love. And at the end of the day, you still going to win. You still going to win. I'm not going to put nobody in the position that I won't want me to be in.
Indeed.
Right? And when people try to force me into a position they don't want me in, I just don't participate. If I don't participate, I take my ball and go home. They waiting on the court for me to play the game. I'm gone. I'm not playing that game. I'm taking my ball. I'm going home. I'm not participating. But if anybody for the uplifting the fallen humanity, raising the matriarchs, protecting the children, freeing the political prisoners, and changing the current paradigm from a hate-based system to a love-based system, I'm all with it. Come on, bring it on if you want to play. Let's get happy around it. Let's start having Mardi Gras from coast to coast like we used to do before the imposters came. Right? Because we had everything we did, we celebrated. We celebrated when you was born. We celebrated when you died. And everything that you did in the middle was celebrated too. We don't even celebrate each other no more. That's why I try to get all my elders they flowers when I see them. That's why I'm telling Dr. B right now, I got your bouquet right here, baby. You got them.
I noticed that.
I
Hey,
recognize.
family, I want to thank everybody. This has been an absolutely amazing show tonight. I want to thank everybody for listening. I did see somebody ask about Rod Hayes. I don't want to forget the brother. They did ask about your Cash App and how to support you. So I just posted it in the chat. $ SIK, capital SIK, capital APE. If you want to support the brother Rod Hayes, you know the website to go to for Doctor B Sirius. This is Brother Rich Black Magic 363. Thank you so much, family. We still got over 4,200 people in the chat. It's 11:47 p.m. in the Eastern time.
Yes.
Brother Rich got to get out of here. But I'm gonna see y'all next time. I'm gonna have these brothers. You know, these brothers is on here constantly. So I definitely. Oh, Rod Hayes. He got a Patreon video on my Patreon site, so y'all can check that out if y'all interested. An amazing video that me and the brother did on activating the chakras. So if you're interested in that, you can hit up the Patreon site for that. But besides that, I want to thank everybody. Thank you, Rod Hayes. Thank you, Dr. B Sirius. And I'm going to talk to you brother soon, man. But thank everybody for listening. Right. Brother Rich, I'm out of here. Peace, family.
Peace, brother
love,
Rich.
love supreme. I love
yes,
supreme.
yes.
Love supreme.